This is Peter Renaday. I am the Ghost Host, and I'm skywalking through Neverland.
The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
This is what you can look forward to on our Halloween episode 535 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
Just leave him alone and you will survive another day.
Heaven and hell is all around us, right? In us. The jungle and the stars is in us.
We want to hear the creature theme every time we see the creature or any part of the creature.
So the question remains, who are the real creatures here?
Oh.
Oh, he loves the silver shamrock.
No,
he loves it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Listen. Magic mirror on the wall. All the forces of evil I call.
Hello, darling. This is Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and I'm skywalking through Neverland. Are you?
Happy Halloween, Skywalkers! Do you recall last year when we broke down the Universal Frankenstein films? Well, we asked you what you wanted to see next, and you said, by popular demand, the creature from the Black Lagoon and the whole creature trilogy. And that's what's coming up today on our Halloween episode. And joining us is the co-writer of the horror film Pumpkinhead and Creature from the Black Lagoon superfan, Gerani. But until then, we want to welcome you back to Skywalking Through Neverland. I am Richard Woloski. Now, everyone, please say hello to my bride, Sarah Woloski, of 16 years. I was trying to work on the Bride of Frankenstein, the bride, since this was our anniversary week.
Yeah. Awesome anniversary week. And we've had so much fun doing Halloween things this week. And now we are continuing that Halloween with Creature from the Black Lagoon.
So if I haven't said it enough, happy 16th year anniversary. I did the math quickly in my head.
Believe me.
Even though I've been saying it for the last week, I had to do the math again in my head.
I still don't understand how it's been 16 years. That does not compute. Maybe 10?
Well, we just went through our photos on our phones. Like, wow, we've done a lot of stuff.
In the past, 6 weeks. Yes.
Very true.
Yes, we have. All right, Skywalkers, please subscribe to Skywalking Through Neverland on YouTube because you'll be able to see some of the clips from these films that we're going to talk about and conversations that we're going to have. We are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel fandom. So it's time to imagine a big Wookiee hug from us, and a little sprinkle of pixie dust, and perhaps a little creature hand, and saying hello.
Roar. Hello, Skywalkers. Hello. It's me, the creature from the Black Lagoon. That's enough for my podcasting career. Goodbye.
That was very exciting.
Well, I know. All right, now we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations, and they are a diamond-level Disney vacation planner travel agency that can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world, a Disney cruise, or to a Universal Studios theme park where you can maybe meet the creature in the ride Monsters Unchained. So Small World Vacations, they will book your trip for free. So head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no-obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland said, grrr.
That's right. Another sponsor, Spirit Jersey. They now have their own Star Wars and Disney license that you can buy outside the parks. It's super cute stuff. So head to spiritjersey.com and get free shipping with code SKYWLKNVD right here. Now we are recording this episode from Long Beach, California on October 27th. 2025. Richard, there's only 4 more days till Halloween.
4 more days to Halloween. You know what we need to do?
What?
Rollin' Silver Shamrock.
Let's roll in the creature
Wait,
theme.
hold
How
on,
about that?
the creature's gonna dance to the Silver Shamrock. Oh, he loves the Silver Shamrock.
No,
He
creature
loves
theme.
it.
Okay.
All right, now, since we have such a huge show coming up, and before we speak with Gary Gerani, let's give a quick breakdown of the Universal horror film franchise, and then we'll go into each of the 3 Creature from the Black Lagoon films.
And those of you who are watching live right now, if you want to chime in, we would love your comments.
Children of the night, what music they make.
It's alive! It's alive!
So the Universal Monster franchise, there were actually 35 films, starting all the way back in 1913 with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and ending with the 3rd Creature from the Black Lagoon movie, which is The Creature Walks Among Us in 1956. So from 1913 to 1956, that's quite a long period of time.
The 43 years of horror films?
Yep.
Now, they were off to a slow start with their second monster film, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, coming out 10 years later, 1923. Then they followed that with The Phantom of the Opera in 1925. But things didn't really explode until 1931 with, Sarah, which film?
Dracula.
Dracula. That's when the horror genre really took off. And after that, Universal started cranking out these movies, sometimes more than one a year. Like 1931 saw Dracula and Frankenstein.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At the beginning of the year and the end of the year. Yeah. Of course, like any long running franchise that moves too fast, audiences eventually started to lose interest. But then things picked back up when Universal got creative. They re-released the classics, but they even blended genres. So one of the best examples of this was Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein in 1948. It brought comedy into the mix and actually doubled the box office of most of the earlier horror films.
So that gave a new pump to this genre. Then the franchise wrapped up in 1956 with The Creature Walks Among Us. But now let's go back to one of the most beloved films in the Universal horror films, and that is The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
That is what we're doing. Creature! Can you tell? Can you tell?
right.
It's all creature all up in
Yes,
here.
there's the segue into The Creature from the Black Lagoon retrospective. So let's give a small breakdown and our thoughts of each of the films, okay?
Yeah.
Now, this first film came out February 12th, 1954, and it was directed by Jack Arnold, and it starred Ben Chapman as the Gill Man on land and Riku Browning as the Gill Man underwater. Now, we're going to give those 2 actors top billing since they were uncredited in the film. Could you imagine that?
Makes no sense.
The movie's called The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Why not give these actors the credit after all they had to endure in this costume? At least throw them a special appearance by or special thanks to. It's a sign of respect. If someone's going to do all that work, give them some credit.
Absolutely. So we are giving them credit here.
Yes, top billing. There you
Yes.
go. It only took them 60 some odd years. Now, Julia Adams plays Kay Lawrence, but her real name is Julie Adams. Julie Gildersleeve in the Sky Chat says Julie works.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, so Julie was her real name, so we'll keep it to Julie.
And hey, Bren.
Hey, hey, Bren's in the
Yeah,
house.
woo.
And Richard Carlson plays Dr. David Reed.
All right. And the runtime of the film was 79 minutes. And box office back in, what was it,
54.
1954, $1.3 million. All
right.
Shall we read a summary of
Yes.
this film?
But you know what? Can we give a shout out
Oh!
to Jeff Caffrey?
Absolutely.
Battle of the Fiends.
Hey, Jeff. Awesome.
Nice.
All your names are coming up as at names now.
Huh.
Interesting.
All right. Summary of The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Deep in the Amazon rainforest, a team of geologists makes a discovery that changes everything. A fossilized hand with webbed fingers dating back to the Devonian period, evidence of a creature that once linked sea and land. Intrigued, Dr. David Reed leads an expedition to uncover the truth. Their journey takes them to a remote paradise known as the Black Lagoon, a place from which no one has ever returned. But as they explore, something watches from beneath the surface. The Gill Man, half human, half fish, has taken a special interest in Reed's girlfriend, Kay. One by one, the expedition's members fall victim to the creature's attacks. In a desperate struggle, they manage to capture it, a momentary victory. But that night, the creature escapes, sealing off the lagoon and trapping the survivors inside. At dawn, the horror escalates. The Gill Man abducts Kay. Reed and his remaining crew track the monster to its underwater lair, where a final confrontation unfolds. They open fire, and the creature sinks back into the depths of the lagoon. And as the ripples fade into silence, one question lingers. Is the Gill Man truly gone?
That could go a lot of directions, and we're going to explore that with Gary Gerani coming up very soon.
Yes.
Now, do you recall when you first saw this?
Yes, I first saw this last month. That was my first time seeing the creature films. I had never seen any of these Universal horror monster movies back when I was a kid. I was into musicals. Let's just call it at musicals. So I saw it for the first time, and to me, this film was really like Jurassic Park meets Jungle Cruise with a dash of the African Queen in there for fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, and it was fun to really see that 1950s cinema with its limitations. Like when a creature grabs a man's head and then all of a sudden the guy's dead. Like there's no sign of blood or struggle or anything. It's like he goes, okay, now you're dead.
Or just pushes them down.
Yeah, and he's gone.
Dude, the guy, what do you fall on? Something sharp?
He's down for the count.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Guy's gone.
Yeah, that was my first time seeing the film. So, Richard, what about you?
I recall seeing The Creature from the Black Lagoon. I want to say sometime around 1975 when it was re-released.
Right.
We saw it at the West Newton Cinema. And a couple of years ago, I brought you to the West Newton Cinema to see The Greatest Showman. And I recall saying, this is where I saw a lot of the big movies when I was a kid, including The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Now, it was the second film in a double feature projected in 3D.
Ooh.
And by the time Creature was run, my eyes were hurting so bad. Because
Oh,
he had the
no.
blue and the red cardboard glasses. And, they just gave you a migraine at even 6 years old. I was getting these migraines from this.
Oh, how sad.
And so I had to go out in the lobby. And I told my sister, hey, when the Creature scenes come up, let me know, okay? So every 20 minutes, you run, he's on. By the time I got into the theater, we saw him jumping back into the lagoon. That was it. So I didn't really see much of the Creature during that very first screening.
Oh, man.
But, since then, I'd seen it many times on Creature Double Feature on Channel 56 every other Saturday morning. But I didn't really start to appreciate it until I started working in Creature special effects, and I could really appreciate the work that went into that Gill Man suit. That suit is perfect.
It holds up.
Oh,
It is
yeah.
incredible.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now we have some comments here from the Sky Chat of people's first times.
Oh, Julie Gildersleeve says it was her first time too.
Yeah, because they're watching
Oh.
all the Universal monster movies since we've been sharing them. So her first time too. Samesies. All right.
Yeah, no, really? You guys are both on the same Universal monster cycle?
Yep.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. All right,
about
Jeff
Jeff?
Caffrey says, I probably saw it on TV in the 70s.
Like you,
Mhm.
right?
And then
Let's
he goes
see.
on by saying
Oh.
the blue-red glasses are the worst. Oh my goodness, they give you a headache.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, any of these questions we ask each other, please feel free to answer them in the chat, Skywalkers.
All right, now let's give our thoughts on the film. So tell us what your initial thoughts on The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Okay, yes. So I feel like this film has a very compelling story, very resonant themes. And it did remind me of Jurassic Park. So, you have like your scientists gearing up for a trip to study an ancient creature. So that opening, like not the opening scene, but when they went to the scientists who are like, ooh, we found evidence of a creature. Let's get ready to go. And so they were so obsessed with whether or not they could find this creature that they didn't stop to think if they should. Because a lot of people die. Right? That's what
needlessly.
Makes this,
Needlessly.
It really does.
Just leave him alone and you will survive another day.
Exactly. Yeah, so let's get into some of your thoughts before I go into the rest of mine.
All right, now, even with a lot of exposition of the storyline, and there's a lot of scientific talk, I think the film moves pretty quickly. And I don't think it ever drags. And this film really flew by. And I give it a lot of kudos for standing up to the test of time. Because not many films can do that. Now, I keep on saying this. Just leave the creature alone. This is another example of you'll live to see another day if you just leave him alone. Now, these scientists come digging up his home. And what is he going to do? He's going to defend his home. Dr. Reed starts taking underwater plants.
They didn't even knock.
No. Or just say, hey, do you mind if we take that plant down there? Goes down there with a knife, starts chopping up. He's like, hey, that's in my living room. Put that back. And another character shoots him with a harpoon. Kay flicks a cigarette into the lagoon.
Yeah, that was horrifying.
Yeah,
as a 21st century adult.
You're gonna litter in this lagoon that probably hasn't seen another human for who knows how many decades, and now you're gonna litter it with your cigarette butt. So the question remains: who are the real creatures here?
Oh.
Maybe the creature from the title doesn't refer to the Gill Man.
And the horror doesn't come from the creature.
No.
It comes from flicking your cigarette butt in paradise.
These disrespectful humans.
Yes.
Humanity. Ugh.
Yeah, now I definitely agree with you that the creature did not deserve to die. It was minding its own business in its own home, and these humans come invade. So yeah, definitely, I really agree with you there. Now, in terms of the story trajectory, right? Like many of the Frankenstein films, this movie just ends. Okay, cut to credits, done.
Yeah,
So
fade to black.
Yeah,
Get out of the theater.
there's no decompression scene.
Yeah, that's how a lot of the films worked back then. Hey, how do we end it? Just blow something up and blow the creature up and
we're out.
Yeah, if we come back for a sequel, we'll bring them back and no one's going to be talking about this on a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this does have, I think, the best and creepiest shot of any of the classic Universal monster films. And this is when the Gill Man was finally captured. And he's put in a cage.
Oh.
And he's just staring up from this cage and looking at the others.
Just very still.
Very still. Very Michael Myers. And you know, when a creature is that still, you know he's studying your weak spots. He's learning. But if he was in there thrashing around, it wouldn't be so scary. But he's just down there and he's looking up. Oh, just thinking about it now gives me the willies.
It really does. Yeah. Wow. And then you, like a certain shot, I was, of course, listening to the music. So to me, this soundtrack is a little too over the top in some places, and it doesn't quite flow very naturally together. And especially in the underwater scenes where the soundtrack is the only sound that's telling you what to expect and do, it's too intense. And we found out after watching some creature documentaries that there's actually 3 composers doing the music for this film. So you have Henry Mancini, Herman Stein, and Hans J. Salter, and they all worked for the studio. So they were in the studio system, and basically they were just told from on high that we want to hear the creature theme every time we see the creature or any part of the creature.
Yeah, but director Jack Arnold, we just heard that theme 15 times. We want to hear it a 16th time.
So can you guess how many times we hear the creature theme?
18 times.
More.
19 times.
Much more.
38 times.
Times that by at least 3. Actually, 4.
Siri, what is 4 times
38.
38? 152 times.
Okay, I guess it's more like times 3.
Oh.
It is 120 times. Oh, okay, yeah, Julie's asking 160. So it is 120 times.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Doesn't feel like it. Yes, it does.
It does. You feel like it a lot. But what's interesting and why I felt like so disjointed with the soundtrack is because Herman Stein was used for the beginning and end titles. Hans J. Salter was used for like the horror scenes and the climax. And then Henry Mancini was responsible for the lighter music, like when the ship is going sailing on the water. And but that was fascinating learning about that.
All right, so let's see some of the comments here.
Okay.
Jeff Caffrey says, amazing how they can make the suit and have it not fall apart going from land to sea and back over again. Well, the secret
Whoa.
there is there were 2 suits.
Yes.
Rico Browning was the creature underwater, and Ben Chapman was the creature on land. And each one of them had its own suit.
And they were different heights as well. Ben Chapman was much taller and bigger than Riku Browning. So the suits were different heights. And I think if you look, the one on land has like an extra
plating.
Extra plating, in his stomach.
Yeah, he had this armor mid-torso section.
Yeah.
He had one more band of plating.
Exactly.
And plus, you never really see the one underwater that clearly because he's under murky water.
Mm-hmm.
So, no one, if they hadn't said that, I never would have noticed that.
Yeah. But there you go. Now the more you know, Jeff. The more you know.
Mm-hmm. And hold on. He also says, Jeff says, so many deaths in paradise. Yeah, they mentioned the lagoon as a paradise which no one has ever returned. Do you guys not know what the word paradise means?
Yeah, that doesn't really sound like much of a paradise.
Yeah, and as a side note, it's always so fun when we go to Universal Studios in Hollywood and they say, yeah, this lagoon over here, this is where they shot The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Wow, that film was shot right here next to the 101 freeway. Mm-hmm. Supposed to be in the Amazon, but it was shot in 3 different areas. One in Florida for the underwater parts, and then they had another water tank in Simi Valley, which they could put the camera in a house underwater to get more underwater shots, and then the stuff on land at Universal Studios in Hollywood. I always love going by that lagoon.
Yeah.
All right, now, should we move on to the sequel, Revenge of the Creature, which came out March 30th, 1955.
So now, was that 1 year?
That's 1 year later.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, they cranked out these films.
Yeah. All right, so Revenge of the Creature. It was directed once again by Jack Arnold, starring Riku Browning as the creature seen underwater, and a lot of that was stock footage from the first film. Mm-hmm. And Tom Hennessy plays the creature on land this time. Laurie Nelson as Helen Dobson, John Aga as Professor Cleet Ferguson, and Clint Eastwood as an uncredited lab assistant.
But there were 4 rats in there when I changed my lights. Now there's only 3. It's my considered opinion that rat number 4 is sitting inside that cat.
A very young Clint Eastwood. It's like, who's this guy with the really nice jawline? He's got this cut jawline. It's like, oh, only after in the credits did we realize that was Clint Eastwood.
But when you're looking at him, like, wait a minute, I know that guy from somewhere. It's the way his pompadour hair was flowing. Like, that's got to be someone.
Yeah, so it's worth a look just to see him in this. Yeah.
All right, now this one comes in at 82 minutes, but really, this film should have been 45 minutes. And the box office take was 1.1 million, whereas the first film was 1.3 million. Mm-hmm. All right, now, Sarah, give us the summary of Revenge of the Creature.
Okay. Now captured, the Gill Man is transported to the Ocean Harbor Oceanarium in Florida, a living relic put on display for science and spectacle. There, animal psychologist Professor Cleet Ferguson and his assistant Helen Dobson study the creature, unaware they are being studied in return. As Cleet and Helen's bond deepens, the Gill Man becomes fixated on her, drawn to the one human who shows him kindness. But obsession turns deadly. The creature breaks free, killing his captor and vanishing into the open sea. Soon, strange things begin to happen along the coast. Helen's dog disappears. 2 men turn up dead. Then, one night at a seaside restaurant, the Gill Man returns and abducts Helen. Wait a minute. This sounds awful familiar. Cleet and the police race to the shoreline and begin a sweeping search. When the creature surfaces, shots ring out across the water. Helen is saved, and the Gill Man sinks beneath the waves once more. But as the ocean grows still, one question remains. Is the creature truly gone this time?
Only box office numbers will know for sure. If the movie turns a profit, then yes, he'll come back. If it doesn't do well, he will truly be gone.
Uh-huh.
And I love the scene where he walks into the restaurant to abduct Helen.
No one stops him though, because they know if that paw gets close to their head, that claw.
All he's got to do is go move.
Yeah.
And
You're dead.
Yeah, what kind of power does his claws have? Where's the toy? Go get the toy. Don't let these claws touch you. Rrr. Now, they don't even try to hide the fact that this is King Kong retold.
Yes.
Yeah, capture the creature from its native land, show him off to a paying audience, and then kill him.
Yeah, totally.
Once again, I can't say this enough time. I really feel empathy for the creature. Just leave him alone. But I do have to point out the best wire work ever. When these 2 young guys stumble upon Helen laying there unconscious on the shoreline, the creature comes up and from behind them and throws him around and throws this guy right up to a tree and does this like swooping motion.
Yeah, he doesn't throw, he throws.
Boy, feel sorry for the young man, but you know what? If you're gonna go out comedically.
Yeah. Oh man, we laughed. We paused that movie, laughed for about 5 minutes.
And watched again and said, you saw that too, right?
The creature defies physics. Yeah. All right. So I do love the fact, now in each of these creature films so far, they have added a woman into the mix. And that really helps bring in, like, me into this. Like, if it was just male scientists studying the creature, it's like, okay. But the woman in there really adds interest. And the fact that it adds interest for the creature, of course, as well. And what I really like, my favorite part of the movie was when Helen and Cleet, they'd be talking outside of the aquarium, and they're all dressed up for like going on a date, right? So she's all prettied up, and there's this window into the creature's lagoon area, and they're talking on either side of it, and all of a sudden the creature, his face is like right in the middle of the frame, watching them.
Going, hey, can I come?
It's the best shot ever.
Yeah, they're keeping him in this water tank, just to be looked at by a paying audience, and people are walking like right by him, like they've seen this before.
Yeah, it's like this is such a cool, interesting creature. And then Helen and Cleet they do experiments on him, like they try to teach him yes and no, but to teach him no, they have this like electric prod, and they put out food, and when he comes to get the food, they prod him with the electricity before he can get the food and go, no.
It's like, yeah, okay, you guys are sending me mixed signals.
Yes.
Are you giving me something and then saying no? Make up your mind.
It's so terrible. I felt so sorry for the creature.
Yeah. Once again, who are the real creatures in these movies? Don't know. And I'll go ahead and say it. A horrible ending.
Oh.
A horrible ending. He was only shot once and then stumbles back into the ocean. In the first film, he shot like 8 or 9 times.
Right.
Now it's shot once and he goes into the ocean and dies. And, they even used the same stock shot.
They did.
Of him sinking to the bottom of the ocean.
Uh-huh.
It's like, yeah, come on, guys. You got Rico Browning right there. Shoot another death scene.
And
give the creature at least that much respect to give him a new death shot.
Right. And they use a lot of the same swimming shots,
Yeah,
too.
oh yeah.
It's like, we don't want any more cameras underwater. Let's just use this stock footage we have now.
But I'll say a positive. There was another really great shot of the creature hiding in plain sight, watching the other characters swim by in this aquarium tank somewhere at a water park in Florida. And he just hides because he blends right in. And he's just staring at them, just once again studying them. He's chained up, so he can't like go after them.
Right.
So I just love that shot because he's like, okay, once you get close enough, I know where to attack, and I'm gonna attack viciously, and you guys can't say boo about it because you had it coming. You had it coming. All right, so
Yeah.
let's move on to the third film, The Creature Walks Among Us. And this was released in March of 1956. So every year you got a new creature movie.
Mm-hmm. They were getting them out. And this one was directed by John Sherwood. And once again, Riku Browning does the underwater scenes of The Creature.
But then again, a lot of the underwater scenes with him were shots from the previous films.
Oh.
If they even shot any new footage at all.
Wow.
I don't think they shot anything new.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Richard. Should I read this or do you want to read this?
Okay, I'll read this one.
Okay.
The Gill Man returns, but this time the experiment has gone too far. In the waters of the Florida coast, a new expedition led by the ambitious Dr. William Barton sets out to capture the legendary creature once more. When the team finally succeeds, the Gill Man is gravely burned, his scales charred, his body broken. But what happens next is no rescue. It's a transformation. Under Barton's orders, scientists perform a series of radical experiments revealing that beneath the creature's gills lies a hidden layer of human-like skin. As it heals, the Gill Man begins to breathe air. No longer a creature of the deep, but something caught between two worlds. Yet, while his captors see a scientific marvel, the creature feels only rage and sorrow. Trapped behind walls, studied and prodded, he becomes a mirror to the darkness in those who would call themselves human, especially Dr. Barton, whose jealousy and cruelty soon spiral out of control. When violence erupts, the creature breaks free once again. He turns on his tormentors, leaving destruction in his wake before vanishing into the night. Walking toward the sea, he can no longer call his home. And as the waves crash beneath the moonlight, we're left to wonder, who is the real monster, the creature or the men who try to make him one of us? I know the answer.
What is it?
The
What is
men
it?
who try to make him one of us.
All these films are like leading to this moment, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't want to become one of you. When will you get that? You litter, you harpoon, you shoot, you
You
dwell.
smoke.
You intrude. Why would he want to become one of you? All right,
Definitely the men.
Julie in the Sky Chat says definitely the men.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Wow. Yeah. That's a big overarching theme of these movies. And this was the film that ended the Universal horror film franchise. At this point, there was so many, audiences weren't seeing as many of these films, and these films ended not with a bang, but with this gentle, plodding walk into the ocean to possibly drown. We don't know.
Yeah, they never really say. But you know what? You gotta appreciate that ending. Because
Okay.
where the other films, he's shot and he sinks to the bottom of the ocean or lagoon. This time he just walks out toward the ocean and we don't see what happens to him. So
Right.
he may have
It's his own
gotten
choice.
up to his ankles and go, ooh, this water's cold. I'm gonna head back. Or he could have died, but it was left up in the air, which is the way the other films should have ended.
Right. Well, yeah. So at least the creature had his own agency at this point and was able to do what he wanted at the end. But I do feel, he's not the cool looking creature anymore for this film.
What, you didn't think he was cool looking?
No, they stuck. Okay, so they had like the creature head, right? But they stuck him in this bodysuit that looked like a Ninjago Lego big blocky body outfit. And then okay, so I had a major issue with this. We both did. This film was in black and white, right? And it featured 3 men and 1 woman, but the 3 men were nearly the same height, build, and same dark hairstyle. So it took about half to 3/4 of the way through the film to separate who each guy was.
Wait, there were 3 men in this film?
Yes, I wasn't sure
I thought it was just one.
No, I wasn't sure who Dr. Barton was, and then there was like her boyfriend, but then there was the guy who was coming on to her. I don't know. It was confusing. And I just couldn't follow the story as well because of that.
You're trying to figure out now, is this the guy who's been hitting on her, or the
Yeah.
guy she's been going out with, or the other scientist who says, I want nothing to do with this.
Yeah, and they all had distinct personalities, but the looks were all the same. And wow, it made me want to watch the original Creature film again to get rid of the bad water taste in my mouth.
Now this was a very slow film.
Mm-hmm.
The other two, I think, had a good pacing.
Yeah.
But this one here was very slow. We didn't see the creature until 20 minutes in. The first film, you saw him the first couple of minutes.
You saw at least his hand.
His hand. Then he attacked that one guy in the tent. But now it's like 20 minutes. Like, hey, is there any creatures in this creature film? And you know what? Once again, same thoughts as the other. Just leave him alone. Stay out of his territory and find something else to study. And I know they want to study him to see, to see what is the bridge between fish and humanity.
Right.
So I get that, but at some point you got to say, okay, we're hurting something here. So maybe the study is not as important as we thought.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, is the creature sentient? He certainly seems
he sure is
sentient. And so at this point, the creature is in bandages, right? Because he's been burned. And that's when the scientists discover that he's got like human skin and that he's got a lungs like that could be translated to breathe air. So they make the decision to be like, let's see if he can breathe air. And they like do a surgery on him without asking the creature's consent. Oh, it's not even like a blink once, blink twice. You know, like they just do it. So the creature wakes up and he's like, okay, I guess I breathe air now.
So at this point, I wanted Helen to say, you know what, you guys are really creatures, and you know what, I'm gonna go with the Gill Man back out to the ocean, okay? Like a very Beauty and the Beast theme.
That would have been a fitting end.
That would have been a very fitting end. Something that I'm sure Guillermo del Toro saw and said, ooh, he's walking into the water. I love the shape of that water. I should do a film about this. What to call it? I don't know.
Maybe it's a love story. Nice.
So it's one of these films that you got to watch it to complete the whole trilogy.
Oh yeah.
Wow, did they go off the rails with this one? Mm-hmm. All right, now what are your final thoughts on the whole Creature of the Black Lagoon trilogy?
So I feel like the creature, and I bring Jurassic Park up a lot, but to me, that is what it is echoing. And the first creature film has real staying power, where the initial premise and the look of the creature is new, it's different, it's fascinating, kind of like that first Jurassic Park film, right? But then each successive film dilutes the creature a little bit until he's no longer a creature. He's one of, he can't even go back to the ocean because he breathes air. Just as the dinosaurs living among us idea has become a little blasé or rote. So yes, those succeeding films are popcorn fun, but not quite as moving or thought-provoking, for me anyway. Okay. And as for comparing it to Frankenstein films, I think it definitely fits within that horror genre. I think that's great. But the creature won't really have my heart until I can meet him at a Universal theme park, like the Bride and Frankenstein.
That might be a tall order.
I know.
To fit someone in that skin-tight suit for 8 hours a day. That's going to be... I hope it does happen.
I think that would be so cool. But yeah, that would be fun.
What if they had like an aquarium, like a big water pool?
That's what I think that would be neat. Like he pops up.
Yeah, it pops up. Or you can go down below and almost like in an aquarium, you can see him like swim by. That could have been an animatronic.
Like Not Finding Nemo. Who's the turtle? Turtle Talk. Oh, I guess you couldn't talk with the creature because the creature doesn't talk. Yeah,
but I'm talking maybe like an animatronic, or even you can get a performer in a suit to swim by and go up to the crowd of people there. That way, the performer is nice and cool in the water. You need to see him in his natural habitat, which is water. I would fly to Orlando right now to see that.
Me too.
That's a good idea.
I love
Universal, are you listening?
Let's do it.
I really love this creature because he is an actual creature, whereas the other monsters like Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, they were people turned into monsters. Gill Man is unique because he's a pure creature. I'm thinking back, and I don't recall any other creature having this same kind of background.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, King Kong, but he's not part of the Universal.
Right, no, not of this monster franchise.
Got it.
You get all these other creatures that were either bitten by a werewolf or made from in a laboratory or bitten by another vampire, but this is a pure creature. And I know we're going to talk to Gary about this, but moving ahead in the creature franchise, I know everything's being remade and retold and rebooted, but I want to see a prequel. I want to see a prequel because I want to world build this.
Now, what would the well? Go ahead, describe.
Okay, in the beginning of the first film, this whole thing starts with these explorers finding the claw of another creature buried in the sand. So they're saying, hey, there could be more of these out here. Let's find the rest of this skeleton. So there's more of these creatures out there. Where did they live? When did they live? How many were there? So I want to see a prequel that builds up to this.
Like with the creature family?
With the whole creature family, creature kids, creature dad, creature mother-in-law, creature father-in-law.
Okay, that's fun.
Yeah, please, let's see. We've already moved ahead. Let's move back now. And I love a good prequel. How about you? If they came to you and said, okay, Sarah, how do you want to move this ahead?
Okay, so I feel like it would be interesting to create like a short film because the creature can't talk. So I would think of a short film through the creature's eyes. And thinking even more into it, Gary's going to talk about an article he wrote in Monster Times. And so I'd love to see a short film created on that article where the creature is in his world. People keep interrupting his peace. They keep knocking down his door. Finally, he just has to say, "Get off my lawn!" Or in creature speak, "Get out of my pool!" To these annoying...
Get off my lagoon.
Yeah, to get exactly to these annoying humans. So maybe it's a bit snarky. So I would love to see that.
So I think Michael Jackson had it right. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone and everything will be good, okay? Stay off my lawn. Stay out of my business.
All right, let's see what Gary Gerani has to say about the Gill Man and the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Without a doubt, The Creature from the Black Lagoon is one of the most beloved films in the Universal Monster franchise. But why is the Gill Man so popular? Is it because this enigmatic creature is in between the jungle and the stars? Well, joining us now to do a deep dive into the Creature franchise and to share memories and thoughts of the Gill Man is Gary Gerani.
Now, you may recognize this name as a writer and editor on the Topps trading cards, having worked on the original Star Wars trilogy, Star Trek, Planet of the Apes, and Creature Features. He is also the author of many books, including The Card King Chronicles, Volumes 1 through 5 now, and he is co-writer on the supernatural horror film Pumpkinhead.
Hey, Gary!
Hello there, and happy Halloween. A couple days early, but as Mr. Pumpkinhead, I think I was kind of obliged to mention Halloween. And,
move over, Jack Skellington. You are now the Pumpkin King.
I'm the Card King. I'll be the Pumpkin King too. What the heck? Why
yes.
Not?
All right, now for over a year, we have thought about doing this retrospective of The Creature from the Black Lagoon. We thought we got to get Gary because you've got a specific connection to the Gill Man with a piece you wrote for the Monster Times in 1972. So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, that was a very significant moment in my life, a very significant event, because it was the very, very first piece of professional writing I had ever done. First thing that I wrote that I got paid for. And it's kind of cool that, being a monster kid, it's like, hey, my first professional job was for a monster magazine. But then it gets better because my first professional job was for a monster magazine, but it was doing an article on the Creature from the Black Lagoon. And it gets even better than that because it wasn't only an article on the creature. it was the creature's autobiography. But at this point in time, the Monster Times was a brand new publication, and we were all, me and my contemporaries, of course, were very serious in our love for these movies. And that was an era when you had publications like Cinefantastique and whatever that were now treating science fiction and horror movies with this very respectful, grown-up, highfalutin kind of an approach. So all these years, there was this feeling of, we all love famous monsters, but the puns and it kind of made it kind of a little silly. So now we liked the fact that these things are being treated seriously. So I connected with the folks on the Monster Times. I ran into Chuck McNorton, and he said, "Oh yeah, he's going to be the editor of this new monster magazine," which is really a newspaper called the Monster Times. I sat down and spoke with Chuck. Okay, we're going to do this article on the creature from the Black Lagoon, and oh my God, my favorite monster. So I was all prepared to approach this in a very serious manner. And he said, "Well, Gary, our publication is kind of funky and cute and a little goofy because the Monster Times was published by Brill and Wallstein, who had done the layouts for famous monsters. And I guess they wanted another monster mag that had something of that, agreeably goofy character about it. So it's like, oh my God, okay. I went from this serious article. Okay, how do I make something whimsical and funny? And talking to Chuck, he said, "Why don't you become the creature? Take it from the creature's point of view and act like you're the creature. You're the Gill Man, and you're just telling your story and see what you can come up with." So I'm going to myself, well, am I a comedy writer? Maybe. So I just sat down and I followed my nose on this. And again, it was an article that kind of read like, "Hello, boys and girls. For the first 200 million years of my life, I was in the Amazon River, but then I came to Hollywood," that kind of thing. So the Monster Times article was very popular. I was lucky to see that I did kind of have a sense of humor about this. As much as I took my monsters seriously, I could write in that humorous style and actually a quirky sense of humor that I guess I always sort of had, but I never really associated, using that for something like this. So I was very kind of pleased as a writer that I said, "Oh, okay, I can write humorous articles." Whatever it was here, I got it rose to the occasion, and it was a big success for the Monster Times, and the creature became the first of many movie monsters that told their story first person in the Monster Times. But then I wound up doing all kinds of monsters. And finally, they gave me Godzilla, the ultimate monster, as a monthly column. The big G. And since my name was Gary Gerani, the big G kind of fit. So I was now doing this all the time, and I was very happy that, without even meaning to, I had kind of helped to establish the flavor and tone of the Monster Times with that kind of article. So how much fun is that? Like I say, not only doing a Monster Magazine article for your first professional writing job, but it's about the creature and it's by the creature. So I got to become my favorite movie monster.
What a unique spin that is.
Yeah.
Because most times it's written from the other angle and it's the same article again and again, but here we're looking at the Monster Times Lagoon Creature Confesses.
Yes.
I would pick that up.
And the best thing about the whole thing, too, I can say, there was a very famous expression during this period. I got my job through the New York Times, and they would always run that in ads to show, how so many people got started in the New York Times. Well, I got my job through the Monster Times because the job I got was my position at Topps. Len Brown, who was a movie monster fan, was reading the Monster Times, and he said, "Listen, obviously you can write funny material involving monsters, and we have this new card set coming up called Creature Features, and would you like to come down and write gags for us?" And I did. I did a nice job, and they asked me to stay on and do more. So from that humble beginning, I figured maybe I'd be with the company 5 years, and then maybe I should get past it. That's all I can do is writing bubblegum cards. And then it wound up being a half a century relationship.
Yeah, these are my official cards I had when I was like 3 or 4 years old.
So
Here's one for
cute.
Frankenstein. When somebody tell me a scary story.
Aw. If you really want to hear, though, when did you first see Creature from the Black Lagoon? And do you recall your first reaction?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It frightens me how clear a memory like that is. I mean, really think I'm really a nut here, right? Okay, here's the deal with that. I was born in 1953, which was a year before The Creature came out. It was the year of 3D movies, and they were making The Creature in 1953. But that meant, the early 60s, I was a young kid. And the movies from the 1950s, all the sci-fi movies from the 50s, had been making their way onto television. But The Creature, I first met and fell in love with The Creature through the pages of Famous Monsters magazine. So way before I actually saw the movie, I already was in love with this guy because Famous Monsters would run all these beautiful black and white photos, and looking at again, tons of other monster sci-fi movies I hadn't seen yet either. It was exciting to see these photos before you actually saw the movies, and then those 50s movies did steadily come on television. Now we're going to 1960, 61. And Famous Monsters magazine is out, and I'm looking at The Creature, and I'm saying, oh my God, I can't wait to see this. And every week I get the TV guide to be looking through the listings. Is The Creature going to be on TV? Is it ever going to happen? Oh, it was an eternity. Picture this. 1960, no Creature. 1961, no Creature. 1962, no Creature. 1963, no Creature. I'm going nuts. I want to see this movie, and it's not on TV. Finally, in 1964, all right? And I can tell you exactly, it was in December, very end of it wasn't even the beginning, it was the very end, last month of 1964, on The Late Show, Saturday night at 11:30. And my mom made me take a nap a little earlier, so because I got to see this movie. So my mom was pretty good about letting me see movies that I was desperate to see, even if they were on a little late. So that was it. That was when The Creature from the Black Lagoon first appeared on New York television, and of course the country around the same time, on The Late Show, which was an important venue for Channel 2 in New York, the CBS affiliate. And it was exciting because it was Saturday night at 11:30 was their premiere The Late Show slot for their most important movies. And so it got a full-page ad in TV Guide, which I still have.
Oh,
No way.
Yes. And,
wow.
and every year, you'll see it again, every year in the late December, in tribute to that original broadcast, I will post that original ad on my Facebook page, and it gets around. I know. So that was my first. Well, the significant thing here, again, to say again, was I was already in love with The Creature because of all the photos of him that I'd been looking at. So it was one of those situations where, cart before the horse. And I was collecting toys which had been released. So when I finally saw the movie, I have to admit, when I first saw it on that Late Show broadcast, I was actually a little disappointed. I guess nothing could live up to what my expectations and what I was building up in my mind, right? And, when you look now at the movie and all that underwater photography and all those incredible scenes are part of what really made that particular monster and that approach in that movie so significant and unique. All right, anybody could run around in a rubber costume, with a mask, but the swimming thing was really special. But from my standpoint as a kid, the swimming creature was almost too graceful. I wanted my monsters to be nastier. So he was beautiful. He was this incredible swimming thing. And I would have, as a kid, I would have just wanted more scenes of him grabbing people and killing people and all of that. For me at that time, just at that time, all the underwater stuff that distinguished the movie actually kind of weighed it down a little for me. I couldn't wait till we get to some land scenes so the creature could behave more like a traditional monster. That changed very quickly because the next time Channel 2 showed the creature was on the early show, about 5 p.m. in the afternoon, about 5 months later. And by that time, I had totally bought all the underwater brilliance of it all. And I was completely on board with the movie in addition to the monster. And let me just say one more thing about why I fell in love with the creature just in the photos of him in the magazine. I love dinosaurs, right? And the creature was kind of like a humanoid dinosaur. Now, granted, he was a fish man, but hey, he came from the prehistoric past. He was a prehistoric monster. Where the plot line wasn't like a scientist created a man-fish in his laboratory and it got it. That might have been cool. But this guy was a prehistoric monster. And so it tapped into my love for dinosaurs and for monsters in general. Because he was a head to foot made up creation, there wasn't a boring part of him. The armor plating, the scales, the fins, the other monsters didn't have anything like that. Frankenstein was a cool head. The Wolfman was, the mummy was wrinkly. Okay, that was cool. But the creature was a head to toe prehistoric creature, prehistoric monster. So he automatically became the guy that I loved.
It's funny how you say the water scenes you weren't really that enthralled with, but for me, it made me afraid of water before I saw Jaws. Because wait a minute, he's touching Kay's foot. It's like, oh, if I'm out in the ocean, something's touching my foot? It's like, that's the monster. Everyone pack up the car. Let's get out of here.
well, the funny thing is, and I must admit this, monsters never scared me.
The people scared me.
Yeah, right. It was real life that scared me. Monsters, like dinosaurs, like any of these things, were my friends. They were my escape from the bullies of Brooklyn or whatever else I was going through. And I'm in a comfort zone when I see a made-up creature or monster because I kind of feel like it's a friend. It's here to relieve my psyche in some way. And so those monsters never. And I know a lot of people are scared of monsters, but to me, the kind of scares in horror movies and whatever are usually for me the more subtle things, not the designed creatures who the minute I see them I want to hug them and say, yeah, you're so cool looking. So it's kind of a different relation. I will say another thing about the swimming creature. He did inspire me to learn how to swim.
Oh.
Because what I'm doing, I'm remembering how the creature did it, and I'm emulating some of Riku Browning's, strokes as he's doing all this. And I can remember very clearly in my mind, I was once again becoming the creature. Years before I wrote the article, but it was that. I mean, some kids used to emulate Tarzan to learn how to swim because Tarzan would always be swimming in the movies. But for me, it was the creature. Not that I am, but hey, in good company.
Well, it sounds like the creature for you was the Little Mermaid for me, because that inspired me to swim. So yeah, it's so funny.
And all this inspired me to stay out of the water. It's not where I belong. I'm gonna be up right over here.
That's
Creature,
great.
You stay there. I'll stay right over here.
But that's interesting. So the Little Mermaid, you were learning, and you were thinking you were Ariel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would swim like a mermaid. I'd put little round circles around my ankles. those circle diving things, and I'd swim like a mermaid. Yeah.
That's great. That's wonderful.
I know, it's so funny. Yeah.
Now we know what your interest and passion was for the creature. I think it's the same as me seeing all those famous monster pages.
Yeah.
This creature was fantastic. But what do you think overall? This film has got a huge following.
Mm-hmm,
Everyone loves this film. But why do you think the film and character is as popular as it is?
It's a very well-made film. The environment, the entire world that you enter in the Black Lagoon was very, very evocative. You begin with that. This is how the world began, the Big Bang. And so right away, it's getting you off to a very interesting start. And then they discover the claw, et cetera, et cetera. So I think the movie uh, 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 really captures that whole idea of this other world, the world of the past, and this current lagoon, which was like a piece of the past that remained. And the creature himself was just so damned interesting to look at. You couldn't get a bad shot of him. He was just incredible. Some people have said that too with Pumpkinhead. The design of the creature and whatever, and the alien. Same kind of thing. They're so captivating and they're so beautifully designed that the movies that surround them, which are good movies in their own right, benefit from that. So you get a tremendous sense of the otherworldly in the creature. Then, of course, we get to the next level. Most people talk about what the creature was. Well, it's Beauty and the Beast. And there's a very good reason for that, because the producer, William Allen, was consciously trying to do King Kong again. It was all through his mind. We're going to do the King Kong story. And in the original conception of that first movie, it was going to be like Revenge of the Creature was going to be the last third of the first Creature movie. So for years, people thought, well, they did this first one, they did well, so let's do a sequel that makes sense. But no, years later, Tom Weaver and some other film historians would be digging into the past and finding out that no, originally William Allen, since he was consciously and admitted it in interviews, was emulating the King Kong Beauty and the Beast idea, just like King Kong ended with Kong being brought to civilization,
Right.
escaping and going crazy in the city. So that was in their head originally, and they at some point they said, well, this is enough. And then when the picture did so well, it's like, well, let's take that idea that we were going to have at the end and explore it. So the Beauty and the Beast theme is there. This was made very dramatically evident to us. Not so much even, I mean, you watch the movie, the idea comes through because he's always going after the girl, and that's all well and good. Again, the creature is a stand-in for us little boys, and we're beginning to discover girls when we're leaving our early years and entering our teens, and we don't know what to do with them. It's like, ooh, you kind of want to touch them and whatever. So the creature kind of, he wasn't innocent. He was almost the stand-in for us little boy fans who were watching it. Now, but the thing that I was saying the thing that really drove it home, in 1970, I believe, there was this fantastic book called Science Fiction in the Cinema, written by John Baxter. And he dedicated this entire chapter, which I seem to recall, it was like Lucifer, the films of Jack Arnold. And I'm going, oh my God, ooh. And you read that, and he's the first one that put into words that when the creature is directly below Julie Adams in the swimming scene, it is, and I think if I can quote this correctly, a stylized representation of sexual intercourse. The way the creature is moving directly below her. So the Beauty and the Beast thing was always there, implied. But in this case, they took it to that next level. And the minute he said, I said, oh my God, wow, that's true, kind of. And you keep thinking about it, and it starts to get really weird because you go, you look at that creature, and he doesn't have the necessary physical endowments to do anything with the creature. I know Shape of Water try to find his flaps open up and it comes out or whatever it is. But frankly, you don't see anything like that. But look at his head. It's shaped like a penis. It really is. It really is. And if you look at the first shot in the movie, when he sees her in the water, it's from behind, and you can see that stylized. Now, I don't know if this is just crazy. Certainly, it was nothing I mentioned in my Monster Times article. But I do think they were consciously aware of this interesting angle, as subliminal, subtle as it was. And then when John Baxter literally spelled it out, it's like, yeah, now we're looking for that in the design of the costume and everything else. So yeah, it was Beauty and the Beast, and they did add another angle to it because King Kong was a giant monster, and she was almost like a little doll in his hand. But these beings were of the same size, more or less. So it was getting closer and closer to being a real Beauty and a real Beast.
It's funny that you say that what Jack Arnold was saying about the creature.
Mhm.
Jack Arnold, the director, once said that he saw a picture of an Academy Award and said, "Hey,
Yeah.
if I put some fins on that and
Right,
some gills,
right.
it'll look just like that."
Yeah, that's a cool notion, which is true. No, you know why? Because that Academy Award thing is kind of slender
Yeah.
and graceful, and the creature
Smooth.
was a graceful creature. And if you look at the original designs of the creature before they made him a little more horrific, it looks even more like the Oscar because he's a little more simplified and streamlined and all of that. So yeah, I saw what he meant. I mean, it might have just been a cute comment to make that sort of is true, but who knows,
Yeah.
right?
I think he was just saying that to get away from the whole phallic symbol connotation.
Could be.
Wow.
All right, now theory time. Theory time, okay?
Mhm.
Now, the Gill Man clearly dies at the end of the first film,
Right,
but then
right.
comes right back for the sequels without any explanation to how he survives. And so my theory is the Gill Man does die at the end of each film, but like Jaws, for every Jaws film, it's a different shark. So
Mhm.
maybe every creature film, it is a different creature, which would really broaden out the story and background of this creature. It's not just one. There's many creatures. So,
Mhm.
do you think he died, or do you think it could be different creatures that they're bringing back and they're finding in the Amazon?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, first we have to say, as we know from other monster movies that had sequels, the Amazing Colossal Man falls down the thing. We assume he's dead, but now he's alive again. You can resurrect monsters without having to explain, why they're back, and you just kind of buy that in the same way that you buy the fact that no one can recognize that Clark Kent is Superman. You just go, okay, somehow it survived. In terms of what you're saying, I have some thoughts about that. They were not subtle. They kind of wanted to say at the end of the first movie, okay, the monster is dead. The heroes have won. The monster's been killed because it clearly looks like he's dead, floating up. Right? The argument for in Revenge of the Creature that it's a different creature is the fact that the creature looks very different. The costume design for Revenge of the Creature, as we all know, has those bug eyes, and it's a very different looking. I mean, he was a handsome creature in the first movie. He was a Cary Grant creature, and then he went to a Wallace Beery creature in the second, where he's just They probably were just saying make him look even uglier. He looks a little too beautiful in the first one. And so make his mouth bigger, his eyes bulgier, and also it was easier to see out of those eyes and all that. I will also say that somebody, I believe it was it Riku or was it Ben Chapman, who one of them said they also believe that the creature in the second film was a different creature. Now keep in mind, keep in mind that the script itself is not telling us that. The script itself is identifying the Revenge of the Creature Gill Man as, without question, the same creature that we saw before.
Hence, Revenge.
And Laurie Nelson in Revenge even has a line where he's like an orphan of time, the only one of his kind in the world. And hey, they caught that Devonian relic that Dr. Reed, was talking about last year. Right? So it was clearly meant to be the same creature. So if it was a different creature, it got past the screenwriters and the filmmakers, and it was just only us fans and people close to it who realized that. He also has a much nastier temperament in Revenge of the Creature. Well, granted, he's been taken out of his home and he's chained
Cattle
up.
prodded.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't blame him for throwing a few cars around and doing all that. However, woo-hoo, an argument against that theory is that at the end of Revenge of the Creature, we get the same floating up shot of the dead creature at the end. So it's kind of telling us, all right, he died twice, he survived somehow, but this time he's really dead, the one and only, because it is the same exact shot. So that one is, you gotta weigh pros and cons and think about it a bit. My feeling is the movie wants you to think it's the same one, but because the costume was changed slightly, it's easy to think that, oh, it's a different one of the same species, but it doesn't look exactly the same. And then when you get to the third movie, there's no question it's the same one from the previous movie, because he was in Ocean Harbor and then he found his way into the Ever. So it's not another Amazon find. It's the same thing that's still just swimming around locally.
I tend to think that some of the creatures from the Amazon took like an Uber, got over here, were looking for their brothers,
well,
and that's how he
idea.
came right over here. I just like world building, so thinking that they're different creatures.
No, it's quite just the same way that people like to think, ooh, look at his grotto in the first movie. Are those little symbols on the wall behind him? You know, they really aren't. If you look closely, they're just kind of scratches and whatever. But it's easy to think of a little, a civilization that may have lived ages ago or is connected with these creatures, and people have done. I think in one of the comic book adaptations, like the Art Adams one, he does have the wall with little symbols to suggest that. So again, you can read a lot into this. When Nigel Neal wrote the remake script,
which remake is this? Because I know there was a couple.
One of the as you know,
attempted.
There were several versions. John Landis was the first to want to do, I believe, a remake of The Creature, and so he hired Nigel Neal to write the script. Jack Arnold was going to direct it. It was going to be one of these rare instances where a director was going to direct a remake of his original movie that he directed, and so the script got out, and I couldn't wait to read it. And the best part of that script was when they were looking into was it the children of the seventh day, the creation of man. It was all this, really poetic stuff that he put in there, which was quite fascinating. So we really don't know the creature's backstory. Maybe in a way it's just easier just to say, just accept him the way he was given to us directly. He's a prehistoric life form, an interesting missing link between, man and sea and the Devonian era and life coming out of the water and onto the land. And there was the fossil claw, and just love it for that reason alone. You really don't even need more than that. In a way.
It's funny you bring up the John Landis version, and Universal said, we're going to put all of our eggs in the Jaws 3 3D basket.
Yeah.
So we're fine with this. And Guillermo del Toro says, hey, I get a perfect remake. No, we're good, Guillermo. Just go make your little Shape of Water, whatever this is. That won't go anywhere. Yeah, how many Academy Awards later on?
What was it, Best Picture of the Year?
Yes, it did.
It's so crazy because Universal, I guess, easily could have sued him because it's so close. I mean, it comes from the Amazon. I mean, you didn't even change. It was like, I want to make sure you know that this is the creature we're doing. So it's incredible that. I should talk. There's this new version of Pumpkinhead that Stein is doing. That's like a Goosebumps version with the same name, Pumpkinhead. And I'm going, So these things happen, and it's kind of interesting.
I'm sure Universal wanted to stay in good graces with him, so it's like,
that
okay,
was
you do that.
He was an important young up-and-coming director, and quite frankly, they could never figure out how to do it, and they never did it.
Right.
And at this point, who even wants them to do it? It would be CG. It wouldn't look probably even like him.
Well, that's what we wanted to ask you. If Universal came to you and asked how you would want to continue the legacy of the creature, what would you suggest?
The obvious thing, like your almost reflex when you're thinking of something like this, is to retell the original story in some way, to introduce the character again. All right. But I would first put my brain on the idea of maybe he already exists, and we can find out how the human race discovered him as our plot goes on, maybe you begin a scene, in the Everglades. I remember in The Creature Walks Among Us, you had the guy that the creature attacked, and he tells his story of the creature, jumping out of the water, and I tried to slash at him, and there was plenty blood, all that kind of stuff, which is very evocative. In later years, maybe they would have cut to flash cuts of the guy looking and the thing coming up and all of that. But it's perfectly fine for him to tell the story, just the way Quint tells the story in Jaws. You didn't need shots of the Indianapolis, and it's better, tale by the campfire, of having an actor just tell you something, and your own imagination goes to work. So maybe in this case, you could begin the opening kind of like the pre-credit sequence of Attack of the Giant Leeches, let's say, where you see some guy in the Everglades or whatever, and very suspenseful, he turns around, whatever, and all of a sudden you see a shadow of this thing, and maybe just the claw grabbing him and whatever, and then your title comes on, and then we learn, almost like as if it really happened years ago, that this prehistoric animal was found, captured, it got away, and so forth. You could even, if you want, work in what happens to him in the Creature Walks Among Us, where he is turned into a humanoid creature. He's becoming gradually more human, which is an interesting idea. I mean, most kids hate when they look at the Creature Walks Among Us creature because, oh, he looks so great with his claws and his fins, and now he's kind of like, a toned down version of him wearing this, this
Big
kind of
padded
crazy
suit.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible.
yeah.
Ugh.
Over the years, I have come to truly appreciate The Creature Walks Among Us because I began to realize they were doing something very interesting. That movie has subtext because that's the jungle and the stars thing that we'll be talking about. But it really is interesting how the Jeff Morrow human scientist is becoming more primitive and creature-like, if you will. At the same time, the creature is becoming more human. And it's kind of making this interesting point about ourselves and our humanity, much more so, it was almost like an Outer Limits episode where they would evolve David McCallum into the man of the future. Well, this was very unusual to do something like take this prehistoric and make him human, give him a human soul, in a sense, give him human eyes, which of course he always had those neat made up eyes. So I began to really appreciate on an adult level what they were doing with that story. And then at the very end, when he's marching out into the ocean, how fantastic is this? Is he committing suicide? Because he already knows earlier in the film, when he's in his new human state, he instinctively goes back into the water and is drowning. So the movie sets you up saying, if he goes back into the water with his new lungs, he's going to drown. So there he is at the top of the hill, looking at that great shot when he's looking. And here's the ultimate point about the whole thing, which is it's an amazing trilogy because it's about ultimately planet Earth, nature, and the creature is the representation of the natural planet Earth world, and then man, who always finds a way to screw everything up. Now, here's this life form that has walked the Earth since the dawn of time, but the humans come along. Look what they did to him. They ruined him, and now he's at the end of his journey after all these aeons and all of this. So it's this amazingly tragic conclusion that is a downbeat. It's subtle. It's under the surface, but there it is. Man can always find a way to destroy. And this fantastic creature that represents planet Earth, the natural, has been corrupted, has been changed, whatever. And now the journey is over. And you wonder, is he committing suicide? I've had it. It's enough is enough. I lived all these years. These beings have screwed me up. That's it. That's the end. Or does he not know, or doesn't really quite remember that the water is going to kill him? And it's a tragic ending because he's going to die, So either way, it's this incredibly poignant and dramatic ending. It was always in there, the jungle or the stars, man, the creator, man, the destroyer. But it's such a lovely way, in a very dark, sad way to end the trilogy. So I've come to really appreciate Creature Walks.
Wow.
It's a good commentary on humanity. As soon as someone is turned into a human, they want to end it all.
Well, there's
Yeah.
that angle too, yeah, but right, but it's
Because he
also
sees what the devil the humans are through all
Exactly.
3 films. Like, I want nothing to do with you people.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're mentioning, this third film that asks, are we closer to the jungle or to the stars? So what do you think as a society? What do you think?
Are we closer to the jungle than to the stars?
You know what it is? It's both, really. I mean, we move forward at the same time we move backward. Sometimes moving forward makes us move backward too, in some ways, because as technology gets more and more, we get more panicky. All you have to do is talk about AI. And I was talking to a friend the other day, saying, "Well, should I post an image that has Astro Boy on one side and Data from Star Trek on the other, looking at each other, saying, 'Excuse me, weren't we created as heroes? Now everybody hates us because we're AI. And of course, what it's doing is everything that the old sci-fi movies predicted would happen. Whenever an advanced thing comes along, we become terrified of it. And here's what's we seem to resort to the jungle as opposed to the stars would be, yes, superior Klaatu and you advanced beings, we will join you in the stars and live happily ever after. But the reality says, oh crap, they're stronger than we are. The history of the human race, whenever there was something that was stronger or more advanced, the previous thing was supplanted. So yeah, we have every reason to be scared to death. But that's the jungle again, and yet it's mixed in with the stars because you can't blame any race that knows it's going to be supplanted for getting panicky. What I find interesting is that you talk about the Terminator and you talk about the machines took over the world. Well, maybe that's because we provoked them. If AI is something advanced for the betterment of the planet, actually, and we crazy humans want to destroy it, not only would it be acting out of self-preservation to get rid of us, but to better the planet by getting rid of us. Global warming will go down, everything, right? So the big twist here is that, well, the machines may take over, but maybe we provoked that final annihilation because of the jungle in us. There you go. Yeah.
I think you're right. It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And I've seen some recent videos of people going down to the depths of the ocean and seeing these creatures they've never seen before. But going on with that AI theme, I don't know what is real, what is not anymore.
Oh, well, AI to me is heaven because you can, any wish of yours can come true. You can sit down and you can imagine anything you want. That's where it's going, which is incredible. So literally your dreams can come true, tailored to exactly what you want. But it's hell in that the dangers are really there. People could be imitated, and we don't know if we're looking at reality or whatever. And who knows what kind of catastrophes that could lead to. But then again, everything is heaven and hell, really. It's just how you use it and how you navigate your way around it. The people who are trying to destroy it, I say, well, that's like the horse and buggy society. All your protests against the automobile is not going to work. It's here. You're going to have to learn how to live with it and get what's good out of it, while at the same time try to avoid what's bad about it. Again, heaven and hell is all around us, right? In us. The jungle and the stars is in us.
It's funny when you were talking about that. I was thinking about Dr. Zaius' line in Planet of the Apes. Be careful what you look for. You may not like what you find.
Exactly.
That's with AI. Be careful with what you create because you might not like where it's going to lead us.
Going back to the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, he's still part of this conversation, right?
Oh, yeah. But I know you talked about it a little bit, but what themes in Creature are most personal to you?
The idea to me that he is a metaphor for the natural planet Earth that was corrupted by man, which is, of course, life. And I suppose, all of the ideas of the Beauty and the Beast ideas that we were talking about. But
is there any that's really personal to you that goes, yeah, I can really see that on a personal level?
Well, I've already mentioned about discovering girls, and oh, gee, I kind of like to touch them. That looks kind of nice. I can't get much more personal than that. So
That's very true.
I gave you that already. I'm not going to go any further with that.
Yeah,
I think that's enough.
for me, I would say boundaries. Boundaries. Leave me alone. If you're gonna come into my house, leave me alone. Don't start flicking at cigarettes into my lagoon. Don't start shooting me with harpoons. Don't take me out of my area. Just leave me alone, and I'll leave you alone. Kind of like King Kong. I was minding my own business over here on Skull Island.
yeah.
You guys came and took me to New York as a sideshow. I don't like that.
It's true. I mean, and again, I'm thinking of other science fiction movies from that period. Superman and the Mole Men, which was the first George Reese time he played Superman. And that ends with Lois saying, because the mole men go back down into their little shaft into the center of the earth. Lois says, and then they blow up the shaft so that we can't get to them anymore, which is like saying, it's almost as if they're saying, you live your lives and we'll live ours. So yeah, don't bother us. You know, it's a good idea that we don't come together because it's going to be trouble. Which is kind of a 50s idea. I mean, now we really do believe otherwise. It's almost like, no. Let's try to maybe embrace these other races, these people who are beings that are different from us, and not be afraid and live so separately. Maybe we can learn from each other once we get past our prejudices and all that kind of thing. So an argument could be made on both ways on that one. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's wrap up our conversation with some creature from the Black Lagoon trivia. Now, I think you kind of went here earlier, but let's make sure that we did. We find out that the Gill Man character is part of the Munsters family in the episode When Love Comes to Mockingbird Lane. What is the name of this Gill Man character?
Oh, that's Uncle Gilbert. We all know that. I mean, and
Uncle Gilbert.
And here's the hot skinny on this one. If I can still use a dated expression like that. The mask there is the underwater mask taken from the original underwater mole. That's what Rico Browning wore when he was swimming. And the big difference, of course, between the underwater mask and the land mask is that the underwater mask has no eyes. It was just those empty sockets, which were also kind of wonderful when you saw those empty sockets underwater. But as you know, on land, it's a different mask, more detail, and you do have eyes that are kind of neat the way they did them. But yeah, and that was also what was being sold by Dom Post to very lucky kids on the back cover of Famous Monsters back then, because Dom Post was also working from the same original mold.
Oh, no kidding.
If you were able to dig up your $39.95 or whatever it was back then, which was like $1 million to us kids, so most of us couldn't do it, that is you would have gotten Uncle Gilbert, exactly what you're seeing there. Because that is the original, off the original mold.
I did not know that. All right, number 2, true or false? Creature from the Black Lagoon, the musical, existed.
Oh, true. It did exist. And I had approached Universal years earlier about doing a theme park ride of the Creature from the Black Lagoon. That would be a ride that you could get on like an imitation of the Rita boat. It would take you in like a fun house, and every step of the way you get the creation of planet Earth. It'd be a wonderful thing, which would have been in keeping with what we creature fans would have enjoyed. Instead, they went this kind of, funny, goofy approach. And listen, God bless. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed it, and everybody has, different taste when it comes to this stuff. But I kind of wish they had gone with my idea, because that would have been like a regular, state-of-the-art Universal tour ride that would have been such a great way to exploit their great monster character.
I think this was the last time he was ever represented in the Universal theme parks. We were just over at Dark Universe, where they did have the Gill Man in the Monsters Unchained attractions. Like, okay, good. Now this ride is complete.
He's back. Yeah.
Okay,
let's do 2 more. Here is a behind-the-scenes image where Julie Adams was hurt during the production of Creature from the Black Lagoon. How did she hurt her head?
Ben Chapman, that's Ben Chapman, who's looking on in his creature costume, was just carrying her through the grotto as he needed to, and she bumped her head on the set, and I mean, he couldn't see any. You could barely see anything as you're carrying, and he obviously felt very bad. But every now and then you'll have an injury on the set. Thank goodness, this was an injury that could be dealt with. Not in the Mole People. Cynthia Patrick had a worse accident. She lost a toe when one of the mole men dragged her down. And then Universal exploited that too by having pictures of the doctors and I'm okay, but she lost a toe, I believe, which is worse. Poor Julie got her head bashed in a little, but she was looking beautiful in no time. So yeah, accidents will happen. What are you going to do?
Right? All right. Well, you know your stuff. Okay. One last question. This is a multiple choice, so wait before we read the multiple choice before you answer.
Okay.
Who designed the look of the Gill Man? Was it A, Bud Westmore, B, Bud Westmore, C, Bud Westmore, or D, Millicent Patrick?
The easy, funny answer is all of the above. Okay. In recent years, Millicent Patrick has been getting her due as the person who did design. Really was the key designer of the look of the creature. But I keep telling people, back up here. Let's not make Bud Westmore a villain. Bud Westmore was a brilliant designer and makeup man in his own right, but most importantly, just like Stan Winston years later, who was also a great makeup artist, but the real legacy there is that they put together a team of these great people, and these great people created these things that they supervised. So anyone who does that, who's in charge and picks all the best people to do it, I mean, Jack Keevan is just as responsible for giving us the creature as Millicent was, and so I feel like no, Bud Westmore is fine. And in terms of him hogging credit, every studio makeup artist had that single credit. I mean, more people worked on the fly than just Ben Nye, and there were other people that were attached to these things. So that's the way the studio system was, and she definitely did publicity. There was, she probably did more publicity for herself than any of the other folks who worked on the creature. Again, she was a very attractive woman. It was easy for her to do that. So it might have even been a case of finally enough was enough. And finally it was like, hey, you've been, publicized all over the place. That's it. So when it comes to this, it's like, yes, she definitely deserves credit, but he never denied these people credit. Jack Keevan was a name that I saw when I was a kid in Famous Monsters. The same stills of all these people were always there. So they didn't try to hide these people. Who knows, right? Bud Westmore might have been a creep who wanted to steal credit. I don't know. But I give him credit the way I give Stan Winston for assembling the greatest monster movie team you could have. And now we got something immortal as a result of that.
Well, it's good to see the other side, so thanks for presenting that.
For a change, right?
I've worked on enough creature films myself where it's like, wait, where's Richard's credit?
No.
Left off. We'll get you the next time, Rich. It's like, okay, sure you will. All right, Gary, thank you so much for this retrospective on the creature from the Black Lagoon. Now, if any of your fans want to reach out to you, if they don't already know how would they reach out to Mr. Gary Gerani?
Well, easiest thing of all, I'm on Facebook. You could always find me there. And other fan ways of getting to me. I mean, I have a website. The Card King Chronicles books, you could just look it up and find it, and it's another way to get to me. But again, the easiest way is the Facebook thing, I would say. And I'll be happy to chat to any fan or anyone who's interested. That's what I do a lot of times. People get in touch with me, and I'll go, oh, okay, yeah, and friendships begin that way, and that's kind of cool. Also, keep in mind that in addition to my Card King Chronicles books, at the very end of the year, I hope to have the Pumpkinhead companion book finished. So that will finally see the light of day, which contains information and secrets and stuff that have never been revealed about the development of Pumpkinhead and all of that. So, I'm around. Hopefully I'll be doing conventions and other podcasts and stuff, and people will be able to connect with me that way as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Well, you have a
so-
happy Halloween.
Yeah, happy
You
Halloween.
too, guys.
Hashtag
Yes.
the Gill Man lives.
Absolutely. Woo!
Hello, I'm Basil Flimley. You know, we're lucky to live in a city like this, where we can get close to nature and discover what life's all about. Nice to see those new values emerging in the automobile industry, too. This year, a great many model changes show a new concern with light. In some cases, about the only outside changes you'll notice are things like this. It's an impact-absorbing bumper guard. This one's off a 73 Dodge. It's thicker and heavier to protect you and your car from bumps. At Plumley 4th Avenue, we'll be happy to tell you about all the other important changes in this year's Chryslers and Dodges. Some of them could be lifesavers.
Plumley Chrysler Dodge, where extra care makes the difference in every way. 2200 block West 4th Avenue.
Well, that wraps up our Halloween episode number 535 of Skywalking Through Neverland. We want to give a huge thank you to Gary Gerani for sharing his thoughts and his memories and his feelings of the creature from the Black Lagoon. He really is a super fan.
It was amazing. Yeah. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow us on socials at Skywalking Pod, and join our weekly live stream on Mondays at 6 p.m. Pacific for trivia, stories, and things you want to share.
And you can get autographed copies of Today in Star Wars Histories Part 1 and 2 and Skywalking Through My Fandom at skywalkingthroughneverland.com/book.
Do you want to support the show? You can join the Skywalking Force on Patreon for early access and bonus episodes, including the full John Williams Hollywood Bowl concert. We are just 5 members away from 50 right now. So thank you to everyone already on board. And if you are interested, you can go to skywalkingforce.com.
Now, we want to give another huge thank you to Small World Vacations for their continued support. Their Disney and Universal trip planning service is free of charge. So head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no-obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you. Where's the creature?
Ooh.
And give them a big creature. Roar.
That's right. And remember, Spirit Jersey now has their own Star Wars and Disney licensed clothing that you can buy outside the parks, and you can get free shipping with go to spiritjersey.com and just type in the code SKYWLKNVD. This code is in our show notes.
Now, we are part of the Skywalking Network,
Skynet.
home to more great shows like Talking Apes, Star Warsologies, and more. Now, stick around for bloopers and other fun bits that didn't make it into the show. And
Always remember.
just leave me alone.
And
Neverland on Alderaan.
Alderaan.
And stay out of that Black Lagoon. It's not yours to deal with. Get out.
Let's see. I need your creature clappy claps.
Roar, 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 roar.
That would work, except it doesn't work at all.
First, we're going to change the background.
Yes, we do. Wow. Well, it's the equivalent of The Shape of Water. We all know Doug Jones played the creature. And
He was
can you
Amphibian
imagine-
Man.
can you imagine him not being billed in that movie?
No.
No.
SAG would step in and go, mm-mm.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
exactly.
Hey, look at those names to the left. They are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon.
Become a producer yourself and check out all the Disney Plus themed bonus content available depending on the level you subscribe.
Become a member of the elite Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com.